Welcome to the Culture Edit. Unique perspectives into the personal and professional lives of individuals at the helm of successful business, athletics, art, and design. Welcome to the Culture Edit, episode
70.
It's
Wow.
kind of
That's a
crazy.
lot.
We're rapidly approaching episode 100.
The big 100.
The big 100.
We got a big surprise on the big 100.
Do we?
I think so.
Surprise is yet to be determined.
10 days into living the Miami life. How you feeling?
It's been 10 days.
Yes.
Man, time's flying.
I know it sucks, doesn't it?
I know. I love it. I'm not gonna lie though. I do miss Atlanta a little bit.
I mean, I don't miss the weather they're having.
I don't miss the weather.
It's like 75 right now. And up there, it's like, the 30s and 40s.
It's brutal, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I love it down here. Love the people. Love the weather. Love the views.
How about the traffic? Do you love the traffic?
The traffic is brutal. The traffic is. It's like.
It's more frustrating than Atlanta.
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
more. Yeah, I don't even know why.
Because there's no other options. You want to get to Miami Beach, was what we've been trying to do.
Yeah.
There's 3 bridges. Like
Yeah.
in Atlanta, you can always, if you're smart and you look at the traffic, you can always find a way.
I guess.
Here,
yeah.
you cannot find. You're like, I have to go across that bridge.
Yeah.
And
Unless you swim.
It's 2.1 miles, and it's going to take an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. The water definitely keeps you from finding the back roads. It's just water.
But we did find out that there's a water taxi. We need to.
There is
try
a
that.
free water taxi.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Yeah, it's been great so far. I've gotten a lot of running in. Although I will say, I feel like running here, just like riding here, it beats you down a lot more because there's no variation
Yeah.
of like terrain. And so you're kind of just always in the same running position. You're always
We
like
can run up and down Rickenbacker.
Yeah. Yeah. You take for granted how much changing in elevation, like even if it's just a slight change, like little rolling hills, makes such a big difference in using different muscles.
It's the same thing with the riding here. Like we were going to ride to Homestead with this group I was in yesterday, and I think everyone just couldn't take the idea of riding on a flat road for that long.
Yeah.
So we turned around and went to the Key. Just to change it up.
But the weather's been literally perfect. I mean, it is like 65 to 75, cool, but like not cold, breezy, but not too windy. I mean, it is literally perfect.
Yeah.
And the view from our balcony, the building we're in is incredible. I would definitely live in this building.
Yeah. It's nice.
It's very nice. And everyone here that lives here is extremely nice.
Yeah. Everyone's very talkative.
It's like shocking how
Yeah.
nice everyone is.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I expected them to not be nice, but yeah, people are very just very friendly.
Yeah.
So we have had quite the week. We've had a lot of work. Everyone's like, "Oh, are you getting work down there?" And I feel like I'm actually working more hours because we're not walking to and from the office. So we're just like sitting here working, and then I look up and it's like 8:00 at night,
Yeah.
and I don't know where the time went.
Well, we just have a lot to do for the end of the year, so it's cramming it all in.
Yeah, it does feel like we're trying to get a lot done, which is good. Keeps us busy. But yeah, I feel like I can pretty much work from anywhere. I don't need a designated workspace to be productive.
You can. Yes, I cannot. Luckily, the building we're in has work areas that I go to.
Yeah, it's nice.
So feedback from last week's episode was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks again for John Trainer coming on. I got lots of like individual feedback from folks that I didn't even know listened to the podcast that have reached out and said that was their favorite. Like it was
same.
really, really interesting. I think that the range of topics and then, our audience obviously is engaged in those topics. So it was cool.
Yeah. And we did our Spotify Wrapped podcast analytics. And it's interesting because, and I told Victoria this yesterday.
So real quick, Spotify Wrapped, everyone knows what that is,
Yeah.
but we get behind the scenes Wrapped report about the podcast.
Yeah, just like the analytics, who like listeners, or not specific listeners, obviously, but like what episodes are the best. And the recording with Victoria and Lizzie.
Miami.
Yeah, Miami's still number one.
Yeah, for the whole year.
Which is pretty impressive.
Well, but that's Spotify.
That's just Spotify. I think on Apple, I don't know who the number one is on Apple.
I'm not sure on Apple, but on YouTube, I know our number one was the episode with Michael Garrison after Speed Week.
Oh, yeah.
Because it has over 124,000 people listen to that one episode.
It's crazy.
So that was the big. It's just interesting in the different platforms how like YouTube skews really young for us, whereas we're saying Spotify, what was it, 35 to 44 is their biggest demographic?
Yeah.
Was there anything else on the Wrapped stuff that you wanted to?
I'm trying to think if there was any. I mean, the fact that we're in, I think it said 41 different countries.
Yeah.
That was pretty mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Those were the two that stood out to me. Everything else was kind of like, because I look at the analytics every week, so there wasn't anything like shocking.
Yeah.
But I did think it was cool that we were in so many countries because I don't check that as often.
On Spotify Wrapped, who was your number one listened to artist?
Run the Jewels.
Run the Jewels.
Run the Jewels. Thanks to John Trainer. It's so funny because last year was like, I don't know. I guess I didn't realize I was listening to Run the Jewels that much this year, but it's my go-to running playlist.
Yeah.
Ironically, Run the Jewels. And he does talk about running a lot in his music because he's playing off their own name. So I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, so it's your running playlist is what's getting it.
Yeah, and I'm running a lot more. I ran a lot more this year than I did last year.
My top artist, do you remember who my top artist was?
Was it it was Jackie Gleason, right?
No, Jackie Gleason's number 3.
Okay.
Top artist is Julie London.
Who is that?
She's a singer, a jazz singer from the 50s.
And
I put that out there. Everyone's like, what? Why do you listen to music like you're a grandparent? And it's because my account is tied to our office playlist
so
account.
it's actually me.
And so it's actually you playing jazz all the time on my account. So it's Henry Mancini, Julie London, Jackie Gleason, but then we got Zach Bryan, of course, and then Charlie XCX.
That's so random. Which Zach Bryan and Charlie, that's all you.
Yeah.
Because I don't really listen to Zach Bryan.
My top song was by The Cure. It's interesting. I knew that was going to be the case just from a playlist.
Yeah, my top 3 songs, I think, were all Run the Jewels.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So it's Art Week. We thought we would give a newbie's perspective of Art Week because I think a lot of people that listen to podcasts have never been to Art Week in Miami. Art Basel, I guess we should say. That's what the fancy people say. But why don't we just explain now? First of all, we're arted out. Completely.
I can't look at any more art.
It's actually still going on today. Today's Sunday. This is a midday Sunday recording.
Yeah.
It's still going on. We're actually literally right now supposed to be in an activation.
We just couldn't.
And
we're too tired.
Sorry, Sam. We text you. We just can't do it.
We can't do it.
Because we are arted out and we cannot sit in the traffic any longer.
Well, that's the thing is if we were staying in South Beach, it'd be totally different. But to get over there and really just to get back, oh my gosh, it takes like an hour to go 3 miles. It's insane. And we rode.
One day we rode bikes.
Yeah, we rode bikes. But even that, like, is kind of.
It was an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just takes a while. And there's only so many outfits you can wear to ride a heavy non-power assist city bike 7 miles to South
City
Beach.
bikes here suck. Yeah. So Art Week basically start on Wednesday, goes through Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really a week.
All the celebrities go on Tuesday.
All the celebrities go on Tuesday. What it is a bunch of different art shows.
Yeah.
It's not one. I always thought it was just
everyone
Art
thinks
Basel.
it's just Art Basel.
Right.
But Miami's trying to take back Art Week and call it Art Week because it's more than just Art Basel, which is just like one group essentially that has the convention center rented out and it's a bunch of different stalls with all these different artists.
Well, they're from Switzerland. They do a couple of
they do
Basels.
what Tokyo, Milan, Paris. So
and so there's a bunch of different shows, and so you got Art Basel, which is the most famous. It's I think probably the biggest, the highest profile and the most expensive. Like you feel that when you go to that one. Then you've got Art Miami, Context, which are connected.
Yeah.
Context is for like up and comers.
Yeah.
And then Art is probably the second biggest.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got Untitled, which is on the beach, like literally on the beach.
It's pretty cool.
Scope on the beach, and then there's others like Aqua and that we didn't even go to.
We just don't even have time to go to everything.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you're spending half your day working out and then go to things in the afternoon, then before you know it, it's night.
You're exhausted.
You're completely exhausted.
What was your favorite?
Art
Miami.
Art Miami. Untitled, I think, was probably next to it. I like Art Miami because it was a little more elevated, but it had a lot of cool stuff in it. There's a lot of unique stuff in there. It wasn't all like you see. So we were talking about this with Michael, how there's so much like pop art stuff going
Yeah.
on. Which
Michael Passari,
Michael Passari,
not Michael Garrison.
sorry, yeah, Michael Passari, photographer and friend of the pod. He went with us to a few shows, and was also nice to invite us to some late night activations.
We
which,
did not make it to them.
Sorry, Michael.
I can't stay up late. It just is the way it is.
Yeah. So that's a whole nother thing element to it, is that there's all these. So there's the actual art shows where galleries are renting spaces in each of those shows to show their art, to effectively trying to sell the art.
Yeah.
So
Some things have pricing, some things don't.
yeah, like there's no pricing at like Basil.
No, there was no. I assume everything is in the hundreds of thousands to millions.
Yeah. And so that's what's happening. Then there's all these activations, which we'll talk about, like brand activations. Then there's all these parties.
Yeah.
And the parties are at night. So we didn't make it to a single party.
And they start at 10 when I'm like going to sleep.
Yeah, because we're doing our own party at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
To ride and run. So we didn't make that part of which is a big reason why people are here, is to do the parties.
A lot of people don't even see art. They don't go to any of the actual art fairs. They just go to the parties.
Yeah.
But that's not really our MO. Like, we really enjoy walking around art fairs. We enjoy museums. My favorite was on Untitled. I think my favorite artist, I'm trying to remember her name. The one we saw yesterday.
It was Rachel something.
Yeah, she had really incredible I've also realized about myself, I really like sculptures more than anything. I think it's my favorite artistic medium.
Yeah.
I'm always drawn to unique sculptures, but she had sculptures, but she also had like wall sculptures.
Yeah. So imagine a painting, but it's a sculpture.
Yeah. So it was really cool. I'm scared to see how much that cost.
Yeah.
But
there were no prices.
I put my name on the mailing list, and the guy was like, "Oh, which piece are you interested in?" And I was like, probably none, but it was really, really cool stuff. I liked Untitled. I also think like having it on the beach was just really, it felt very relaxing. Like Basel felt very overwhelming because there's just thousands of stalls, and it's just like your head spinning because there's so many people walking around. It's crazy, completely insane. It's like the Disney World of art.
Yeah.
What was her name?
I couldn't find her name, but I did find we have a funny story. When we first went into Context, the very first artist we stopped and looked at, and we really liked his art, told us a story, went through it, introduced himself as Anthony Sarti. Hello, Anthony. And then Anthony said, "I'm based out of Atlanta, Georgia."
We were like, stop. That's so crazy.
Yeah. And so that was a good.
And he has, I guess he brought down, he had bought like 6 booths and like filled it with local artists. So I'm not exactly sure how that works.
He's got Nino's studio at the Goat Farm.
Yeah.
Is what his studio is called.
So it wasn't just his artwork, although his artwork was amazing. He also had different artists that he had paid for, I guess, to come to. So like he was a manager as well.
Yeah, like galleries do.
Yeah,
that.
like a gallery manager.
And also shout out to Nikki Zarabi. We saw her work.
Yeah, her stuff has gone from, I mean, her stuff's incredible. It's so beautiful. And it was funny because when we were standing there, we were talking. So it was Connect Gallery, which is on the west side, I guess, in Atlanta. When I was standing there and we were talking about Nikki Zarabi, I could tell the woman who was like the curator, or maybe not the curator, but the person working in the booth. She was just like listening, like, why do these people know so much about this girl?
That's funny. I didn't see that.
But we did meet her on her very first art launch.
First showing.
But it was her first like single showing.
By herself, yeah.
I feel like I'm not using the right language because we're not really art people, but
I think that's right. Her
like
first
exposition.
Yeah, her first time.
Yeah.
So that was cool. So we saw quite a few Atlanta artists actually. So that's the scene on. Would you recommend people to come down for it? I guess if you're into art or kind of into art, like, and so there's very serious people here.
Yeah, very serious.
There's very serious art people. There's very serious artists. We've seen some wild outfits.
Yeah.
Then you've got people looking to buy art. You can see who those people are. Mm-hmm. And then you've got people that are
a lot of quiet luxury walking around.
A lot of quiet luxury walking around. And then you've got people just enjoying the art.
You know what I was surprised? I don't know if you thought this too. I thought I would see like more like influencers.
Yeah.
But really, I was surprised at how casual the art shows were, like the art fairs.
Yeah.
Like when you're walking around, you see a couple people here and there, and like
At
heels
Basel,
and stilettos and everything. But for the most part, everyone, even I would say like the really rich people that are actually trying to buy stuff are very casual, like
yeah,
running shoes,
it's Miami.
you know,
It's a lot of walking.
yeah.
Got to have those Hokas.
Yeah, I saw a lot of
Number
Hokas.
one shoe I would say for
A
sure is a Hoka.
lot of Hokas. So I actually really like that because I thought it would be more pretentious than it was.
Well, I think the influencers actually don't care about art. They're
Yeah.
all at the lame activations
Yeah, I guess so.
where no one's there.
Well, because the fairs aren't paying them to come to the fairs.
Right.
So they're just going to whatever brand is going to pay them to go there.
Yeah. Let's talk about the activations then. So I'm sure a lot of people see on social media like a brand activation is in partnership with a hotel, like the Edition. And so we went to some of these. We tried to go to some of these. Some fell off just because of traffic. But I would say overall, I mean, we have a lot of interesting takes on this. Overall, I would say most of these activations are pretty disappointing.
Yeah, they were
in
pretty
reality,
lame.
in reality.
Yeah, they weren't. Well, okay, so I have a theory. Okay, well, first let me answer the question because I didn't answer your first question, which was, would you recommend people to come down here?
Yeah.
100%. If you enjoy art, if you like walking around, I mean, it's really nice. Like in the actual art fairs, there you can get a glass of champagne, you can get food.
Good food.
Yeah, really amazing food. Like all local restaurants.
Michael's Genuine, one of our
Michael's
favorite
Genuine,
restaurants.
one of our favorites. But get your little glass of champagne, walk
We say
around,
Michael a lot.
look at the art, and just enjoy. I think coming with a group would be kind of fun, like a group that's into art.
You couldn't walk around together though.
No, I think you go look at what you want to look
Disperse.
at and then come
Yeah.
back. I would say it's interesting now that we've been here and I've seen all of it because it's one of those things where you don't know how to plan for something you've never witnessed before.
Yeah.
And like you can't quite conceptualize what you're going to expect or what you're going to see and like
Well, we were overwhelmed. By
and
the
so we were super
possibilities.
overwhelmed, so it was
Yeah.
kind of hard to plan. But now I know, like, I would definitely just focus on, like, I'd well, one, stay on South Beach or Miami Beach. Do not stay in Brickell. Do not stay anywhere else except on the beach
Yeah.
because it is impossible to get over there
Yep.
unless you have a boat. A lot of celebrities and rich people are just taking boats back and forth, but we
Yeah.
didn't have a boat. But yeah, I would recommend it. I thought it was like a very
Yeah.
cool experience.
It's a lot to do. It's fun.
Yeah.
But then, so on the activations though, again, you see them on social media and they look like so much fun, like these big parties.
And then you show up and there's like no one there.
And there's like no one there. It's definitely a lot of smoke and mirrors going on. But what's our theory on why? Like we've talked a lot about this because we're very interested in this.
So I think because of TikTok and social media, the PR lists like that these brands reach out to get these lists of influencers and celebrities that they should invite has gotten so narrow because there's influencers that are just like have like there's very few influencers that have the most followers.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And so they invite the same people to all of these parties and these people only have so much time.
Yep.
Like they can't go to everything.
And they're sitting in traffic too.
Well, but then also the activations make it so difficult to get into
Yep.
or to even find out where it is, what time it is.
What time?
They've
Yeah.
made it so difficult. And I don't know if that's I think it's trying to be exclusive.
Yeah.
But I would say that like just inviting Alex Earl to every activation and making it impossible for, the average person to find out about it is not a very good strategy. And I think we see that because I think they should charge. I think they should charge like a good amount of money for people to go to the activation so that it doesn't just you don't have just like, people walking in off the streets. But
They're charging the brands. And so we know some folks that are in this industry, in this world here. And so they're charging the brands 6 figures to basically put a party on.
yeah.
And then there's like 20 people there. And they thought that there's going to be 200.
Well, they invited 200 of the top influencers.
And so the brands are looking around like, and they're pissed.
Yeah, but everyone's inviting those same 200 influencers.
Yeah.
And so I think there's got to be a better way to source people. I mean, nowadays, like, what people are looking at. There's so much analytics around what people are following on social media. Like, there should just be a better way to reach out to the average person like you or I and say, hey, we noticed that you follow this, and this brand. Like, you might enjoy our activation. We invite you to, come down. Here it is.
And I think some of those were doing that, like they were using their mailing list. Like I think of BMW, the one activation I really personally
We
wanted to
couldn't
get
get into.
to. No, we got into it, but
Well, no, the
what
fire marshal shut
the
it
fire
down.
marshal shut it
Yeah.
down an hour before we got there.
Yeah.
And so like BMW and Kith did this collaboration where they rebuilt a 1984 M1, and it was really, really cool if you know those brands. And so they sent invitation out to all of BMW owners, which we're not. So, but we have our friend Mario who is, and he gave me the link, and so we registered, and then we showed up, and it was like they had a lot of people there.
Yeah.
So that was like really smart. Like they had a lot. That's why I got shut
Because they
down.
invited the average person.
Yep.
Like who just, I mean, the average person doesn't buy a BMW, but they weren't like, oh, only celebrities can come to this event or only influencers can come to this event.
Yeah, and so they did a really good job, almost too good of a job.
Yeah.
Because they had a Q&A and like a speaker, like they both spoke, and like I think the ones that were smart were doing something like that instead of it just being like a party
Yeah.
with music and drinking, because that's not really much of an activation.
Well, yeah, I think people also are just like tired. They're like, I can't drink all day. I mean, some people can drink all day, but most people are like, I have to actually be productive, especially like the influencers. They're business people, so they can't just like drink all day, and to stand around an activation for hours on end is so boring, I assume, for them.
Has to be.
But yeah, I think that there's just too much. There's not enough reaching out to your actual like fans or consumers, and they're just obsessed with trying to get these like influencers there, and then they don't show up.
I think there's
Like let's talk about, hold on, a perfect example of, I think influencers need to be humbled, because
humbled or pummeled.
humbled. I think influencers have too much power now. Like a good example is we went to, was it Art? Yeah, Art Miami, to see a panel. I only want to see one panel, and it was because the founder of Sporty and Rich.
Is that design?
Design, sorry.
Sorry, we forgot to mention that one.
Yeah, design was great too.
Yeah.
And so I got tickets for that specific day because I wanted to go see this one panel that had the CEO of Sporty and Rich, the CEO of Remedy. It was all about wellness and
Remedy
art
Place.
and yeah.
Yep.
And
by the way, you have to pay for this.
and you did, yeah.
Okay.
And we show up, and she just like didn't even bother showing up to the event.
Yeah.
So they had to like backfill her with like some woman who had never heard of the brand, never heard of the company.
Yeah.
She was fine, but I just feel like, and maybe something came up, maybe she got sick. I don't know.
Could be.
But I do feel like there's just a lot of, I don't know. We heard it from Michael Passari too, where he's like, people will get, like, these influencers or celebrities will get paid and they'll literally not even do their obligation. Like they're supposed to be there for an hour and they show up for like 5 minutes or
take a picture and leave.
And so it's just, I think brands need to really push back on like holding these people accountable.
Yeah.
Because it's just a bad experience.
So you mentioned the Remedy Place, which is a private membership club in LA and New York that's focused on recovery and wellness. So cold plunge, saunas. They did a collaboration with Kohler, which we did not make it to, again, because it was too far and we could never fit into the schedule. But it looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's the only one where I was thinking, like, where's a miss here? There's no athletic or health related brands that seem to be participating. Like, you think about Miami, how active it is. Like, we were talking about how, like, what a world that is, where there's like thousands of people at South Beach doing these art things, and then we wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and we go to Key Biscayne, and there's even more people running and riding bikes. So there's like two worlds like literally going on at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I think there's just a big gap there where I think health, fitness, wellness brand could do something really cool.
Or like, imagine if like Pinarello.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, like, the bikes are a work of art in
Right.
itself. You could do a really, really cool, in like some sort of activation around like the art of bike, or even like the art of the running shoe. Like, I think about that,
Yeah.
how much effort and design goes into creating a product like a running shoe.
Yeah.
It is a work of art. Like, it's very cool.
Especially, you're really right on the bike side. Like,
Yeah.
you could bring in like old bikes and like
Yeah, you can make it really cool.
you could do something really cool. So, yeah, any brands that
Did we just
wanna
come up with an idea for next
explore
year?
that, yeah, reach out to us.
Maybe we
got
should
some
explore
ideas
that.
on how we can help you. Did you notice that Jaguar was sponsoring a bunch of things
Yeah.
with their new logo?
I know, but like,
And they had that new
the car.
car here too.
I never saw it.
We never saw it. We saw pictures of it. It looks fake.
It looks like AI generated.
Yeah, but as a follow up to our last episode, or one before that, they were like a huge sponsor here.
What was it that you sent me the other day that it was basically a picture of like an old car and then the new Jaguar car, and it was like, wow,
It was a Bugatti.
Yeah.
From like 2006.
And it like looks exactly the same.
And their tagline was "Copy nothing," and it looks exactly the same as the Jaguar.
So funny.
So we saw art related. We've seen multiple dogs that have been painted.
Oh, the dyed hair.
Yes.
It's
So,
kind of crazy, actually.
Like that's a thing in Miami, I guess, to paint your dog.
To dye their hair.
Dye their hair.
Yeah.
Sorry. So we've seen one that had like a pink mohawk.
It was so funny.
One that had like dots like a jaguar.
Yeah.
Speaking of jaguar. And then this morning.
We saw a big tiger.
We
walking
saw
down
a
the
giant
road.
tiger that was actually a poodle.
Like Tony the tiger. It was so funny.
Like orange with black stripes.
I felt bad for the dog.
Yeah.
I was like, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's embarrassing.
The one that had the pink hair was pretty funny because it was just like, it was basically this like old decrepit like Chihuahua.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I guess it would have had to have been like a Pomeranian that they shaved because they only.
No, I think it was like I don't know. That's a good question.
It was a weird looking dog.
Yeah.
But they had shaved it so its feet just had hair and its mohawk just had hair, and that was it.
Pink.
Yeah. This dog was wild looking. The people were wild looking that had the dog.
They were. I mean, that's what you get here. So one thing also related to an activation. So we went to the Faena.
Oh yeah, last night.
And that was pretty cool because the elephants. What was the elephant thing?
Well, there's like an elephant migration installation on the beach behind Faena, and it's really cool because it's all of these elephants, life-size elephants, in a massive migration pattern. Made of bamboo, and it is beautiful. I mean, it's so cool. And I kept saying it all week, and I was like, we have to see the elephants. And I felt like you were like, why do you want to see these dumb elephants?
Yeah.
But then when you got there, you were like, oh,
it was impressive.
I get it. Okay.
There were a lot of people there looking at those elephants.
So cool. I think that was actually my favorite thing of the weekend was the elephant migration.
My favorite thing is when we walked back into the Faena, we walked by a random woman. You said, "I love your margarita." I thought,
okay,
like,
so
what? Did this woman just make you a margarita that I'm not aware of? And she said, "Oh, thank you so much."
I was like, what?
And y'all went your opposite way. I was like, "What the hell?"
Okay, so all of my women, I really doubt very few men will know who this person is, but I guarantee that at least 98% of women listening to this podcast will know who she is. So we're walking back into Faena from the elephant installation, and a woman's walking towards me, and I like did a double take, and I realized Bethany Frankel is walking towards me. And for those of you that don't know, she really got her start on New York Housewives a long time ago, like
Real Housewives?
Real Housewives of New York, like decades ago.
Yeah.
That was the first time I ever saw her, but she's really turned it into like this. She's a very successful businesswoman. She's built tons of businesses. She's a badass entrepreneur. She's funny. Like she kind of just owns her quirkiness. She's like a New Yorker through and through. So she's got the accent. If you follow her on TikTok, she's crazy. Like she's completely crazy, but very authentic. Anyway, so she was walking towards me, and she
started Skinny Girl Margarita.
She started the Skinny Girl brand, which has more than just margaritas. It's like salad dressing, wine, all kinds of stuff. But it really started, I think, with the margarita or like mojito maybe. But anyway, she doesn't own it anymore. But all I could think to say, instead of being like, "Oh, you inspired me to start a business," because her and Sarah Blakely definitely are like two female entrepreneurs that I hold in high regard. Instead of saying like, "You inspire me to start a business," like you're an inspiration, blah, blah, blah. I just literally was like, "I like your margarita."
You said love.
I love your margarita.
I love your margarita.
And then
thanks.
I just literally kept walking. Like I just was like, I was like, "I love your margarita." Ah.
I love lamb.
I love lamb.
That's all you got out.
Yeah, that's all I got out.
That was really confusing. Yeah.
So if by any chance you know Bethany Frankel, send her this episode and tell her that I apologize for
we'll make a clip and tag her in it. See if
it was
she
so
responds.
funny though, because like I don't get starstruck, but like, and I wasn't starstruck. It was more just like I only had like a few seconds as she was walking towards me to like get something out of my mouth, and all I could come up with is "I love your margarita."
Yeah, it was good. I will say that hotel, and we don't know hotels on South Beach because we don't go over there, but I was pretty impressed. It was beautiful, pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And we went to the bar afterwards.
which
tried
was
to eat
kind of a
food.
weird. The bar was weird, but
We got a
pretty.
slider that was the size of a nickel,
It was really good though.
and it was really good. And then we made random friends,
Yeah, we made a lot of random friends.
and so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. The espresso martini, oh my gosh, it was so good.
Yeah,
It was one of the best espresso martinis I've ever had.
and
Besides that random place in New York in Little Italy,
oh yeah,
that still is like the top of the list. But also, I was thinking about the best non-traditional espresso martini that I've ever had was at Doya in it's in Wynwood.
Winwood, yeah. The problem was though that we were checking the traffic,
Yeah.
hoping it would get under an hour.
Yeah, and it never did.
Which means we kept ordering
More
more
espresso
espresso
martinis.
martinis, and we made more friends.
Yeah. We were friends with basically half the bar. Like it was, and this is what I do love about Florida. I love, like, people can hate on Florida. They can make jokes about Florida man. But Florida man and woman, people just want to have friends here. Like that's
Very nice.
That's all it is. Everyone is just nice. They just want to have friends. I mean, I will say, like, when they get into their car and they get into traffic, they turn into like demons. But when they're not in their car in traffic, Florida man and woman is just nice. You know? So like the whole bar was just like friendly to each other. It was like, it felt like you were like had walked into an episode of, like, I don't know, like a TV show where everyone's just like friends in the bar. And it's like, it was very, and the singer was amazing. He was like incredible. I'm pretty sure I went to college with him. Like, I'm 99% sure I went to college with the singer.
But yeah, it's watching traffic and ordering espresso martinis can get long.
Yeah, but it was fun though. It was really fun. I think some places that we have gone so we've been trying really hard not to like we haven't been going out every night or anything, just one, because we want to actually try and have like a normal life here.
Well, we're acting like we live here, not like we're on vacation.
Exactly. So we haven't been going out to a ton of places for dinner, so we'll have to, like, over the course of the month, report back on new restaurants. But there's a cafe right next to our building called Crema, and I guess they have like they have a bunch of different locations in Miami.
I think there's 6 or 7. It's
but
amazing.
it is really good.
Yeah.
It's like it's what I always ask for in Atlanta, which is like just an uncomplicated like European style cafe.
Yep.
Like if you order scrambled eggs with turkey bacon and spinach, they actually just give you just healthy scrambled eggs with turkey bacon and spinach. It's not this like layered in oil and butters and seed oils and all that. Like, it's
very
just
simple.
very
food
simple.
That's really, really good.
You get like a sandwich. It's just a simple sandwich. You get a salad, just a simple salad.
I'd also say the same thing for River Oyster Bar. Thanks to our friend Mario for pointing us to that one. That's like pretty awesome.
Really, really, really good shrimp cocktail.
Yeah, their shrimp cocktail, all their seafood was amazing. Highly recommend. It's definitely not a tourist place. It's a locals place.
For sure.
Upscale, nice, cool, good food.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't been to, the irony is we have not been to Wynwood at all, which is also a big part of Art Week at
Well,
Miami.
we're going to go there later.
So we're going to go there later today.
There's a activation at my favorite perfume shop in Wynwood. The perfume shop is called Osme or Osme. I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce it, but the guy who owns it's really cool, and I've gone there a few times. And it just happens to be that my favorite perfume, Nobile 1942. The owner is going to be at the shop talking about
the owner of the perfume.
Yes,
that's what we're doing today.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, but I just happened to.
So you're going to meet the owner of your favorite perfume today.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm pretty excited about it because I think they're launching I think they have a new perfume. That's why they're doing it. But it's like a very, very niche perfume. Like he always.
That's why you cleared our calendar for today. You're like, we're doing one thing.
I was like, we have to do this one thing, and it has nothing to do with art. Although I will say their bottles are artwork. It's It's the only perfume, or it's the perfume I went through the fastest this year.
Okay, so we're going to Wynwood Design District. I mean, we have been in a design district, but not for art stuff. Why do people in Miami communicate only through WhatsApp?
I don't know. I wonder that same thing. Like, do they not have iPhones?
I don't know.
Or is it
people that have iPhones will just WhatsApp me instead of sending me a text.
Is it because like they're talking to people in Europe, like or like Europe or South America or Central America? So like
that's just a platform they're on.
So it's just a platform. I mean, I think WhatsApp is the largest messaging platform in the world.
Yeah.
It's just Americans that use iMessage the most.
I'll ask Mario.
That's what I think, because the girls do too. Like they have a whole WhatsApp channel. I think it's also easier to add, because if you use iMessage, if someone doesn't have an iPhone, you can't use iMessage. But WhatsApp, anyone can use.
Shout out to John Trainer.
It's annoying.
Green bubble.
It's annoying. The green bubble. My problem is that on WhatsApp, for some reason, there's also all these like Asian spam accounts from China, and they just like message you constantly.
Yeah, I feel like it's very spammy. What, and also, why does everyone pay in cash here? You don't see that
because
in
it's
Atlanta.
allowed. You can't pay in cash in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. So WhatsApp and cash, those are two big kind of
And the robots, the delivery robots.
Well, in Brickell, I haven't seen anywhere else other than Brickell.
Yeah.
There are robots
Delivering food everywhere.
Everywhere, like riding down the sidewalk.
Like 20 robots going around in Brickell all the time.
And they're on wheels. So think of like a giant lunchbox on a 6-wheel vehicle.
But the best part is like, even though they're very utilitarian, they're painted in like pink with like heart eyes, and it's so funny.
They have electronic heart eyes that blink.
At you.
And if you walk up to one, it stops. Like our dog had a standoff with one, and the robot stopped.
We know how much Emmy hates like vacuums, Roombas, robots.
And the robot politely stopped and just like slowly went around her.
She won.
It's like kind of, I don't know if it's scary or impressive how these robots just get around town,
the best was
food.
The other day, a unhoused individual was walking alongside of it, like, and treating it like it was his dog.
Yeah,
So
he was. He was talking to it like it was his
dog.
pet.
Yeah, it was pretty funny actually.
Yeah, that was
I was like, at least he's keeping him company.
Okay, so that's it on Miami Art Week and an update here. Work things. I guess we should humble brag that we were recognized by our university.
Oh, as the Seminole 100.
Our esteemed
our business
academic institution, Florida State University, recognized us as, what did they call it? Seminole 100?
The Seminole 100. I don't know where we are in that 100 list because you don't know until you go to the event, but we were chosen as part of the top 100 businesses that have come out of FSU, or like have that alumni that have created.
Which they have an entrepreneurial school.
Yeah, so which neither of us went to. I mean, I was in the business school, but I wasn't in the entrepreneur program.
Yeah, no, I was in social sciences. I guess I was just because I was going to law school. I don't know why I was in social sciences.
Yeah, sounds like a waste of time.
So I wonder how many of these are Seminole 100 award winners are going to be from the School of Social Science.
Probably not a lot.
But I do think it's pretty relative. So stay tuned. When is that? Is it February?
I think it's sometime in February.
Okay, and that's for Niche Culture, our agency.
But I was excited. I actually had forgotten that I applied because you have to go through this whole application process. You have to like go through like E&Y collects all your like info. It's not just like I apply. Like you have to like submit like all your like, numbers for everything, your revenue, like your financials, like how much, because it's based on like growth.
Yeah.
So they want to see like significant growth. So it's not just like, you have vaporware and you just like submit to like this thing.
You raised a bunch of money.
So it took me a really long time to get through this application process. And then I completely forgot that I did it because it was probably 6 months ago.
Well, we did it because our good friends at Good Wipes, Sam and Charlie.
Yeah, they won it a few years ago. So.
And they actually went to the entrepreneurial school or graduates.
I think they were. Yeah, they were in the entrepreneur.
So they're the ones that we saw, and they were like, well, wow, if Good Wipes can do it, we can do it.
If they can do it.
No. So stay tuned on that.
And I think that's all we have for today. I have to fly back to Atlanta for a quick meeting tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
that's why we're recording on Sunday.
Yeah, so that'll be good because
I definitely need to water the plants.
And then fly back here. All right. Well, don't forget to like, subscribe, share the podcast, and we will talk to you next week.
All right.